Live at Lunch. Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road across from Rufino's. Welcome to the Monday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro here. Jordan Kinch is back in the studio. Troy Macker with us today. Henry Hayes with us today. NBA moving towards the second round of the playoffs. Had a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed, once you got to Saturday, the weather. LSU baseball with a sweep. LSU softball with a record-setting day on Saturday. LSU tennis, the ladies advance to play Virginia in the Super Regionals in Charlottesville this weekend. The men wrap up their season with a close loss against Pepperdine. Golden Tempo wins the Kentucky Derby from, I think that horse started in Indiana when he started his run. And, lots of NBA action to get to. Jimmy, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So, of all of the things that you were down on the coast and you had access to all of this stuff, where was your attention mostly over the weekend?
Friday and Saturday at Churchill Downs. So, but at night on the basketball, and I'm still stunned on what happened Friday night with down in Orlando, where I know it's a nondescript series. It's a kind of almost a phony, number one seed, a team that, in today's landscape of the NBA just emphasized so much in the regular season. But what are they doing? And to come back from 30 down to win by double, the 50-point swing is just what? And there's a lot of these in the NBA. You're up 20, you lose by 20. But this is in the postseason. Would they go 27 shots in a row where they missed? An NBA team? Mm-hmm. My goodness. It was over, and maybe Detroit found something. Or was it where a guy played so above what you normally get from him, Tobias Harris, that, in Game 7 that they didn't. But, man, that's an unbelievable comeback in a Game 6 of a playoff series.
And the series ended up costing Jamal Mosley his job as the Orlando Magic fired him this morning. That was expected 2 weeks ago, but it looked like maybe had he saved himself with
the number one
3-1
seed, you kind of got to run it back.
Absolutely. So he was.
I'll defer to Henry on that when we have him on later in the show. But you win the play-in against a respected team, and Charlotte was a respected team. They were dogs at home, and then they run it back. And part of this, man, you lost your third leading scorer, a guy that averages 17 a game for the year. He averaged 16 in the playoffs, and Franz Wagner was unavailable. And for Game 5, 6, and 7. And, that's the 3 games that they lost. And, not just 16 points a game, but about 6.5 rebounds a game, about 4.5, 5 assists a game. He could do a lot of different things, but certainly an offensive option when you are missing 27 in a row.
Yeah. We'll get to more of the NBA playoffs later on in the show. Henry Hayes will be with us in hour number 2. LSU with a sweep of South Carolina at Alex Box Stadium this past weekend. The Tigers broke a 9-game SEC losing streak and get the sweep over South Carolina. All right, let me start with acknowledging the obvious. Playing South Carolina is not like playing Mississippi State, which they did last weekend. It's not like playing Georgia, which they've got to play next weekend. It's not like really playing anybody else in the SEC with the possible exception of Missouri. Carolina's near the bottom. Okay, acknowledge that, and then acknowledge that LSU has played much better baseball over the last 3 weeks with some of the things that don't really matter in a lot of cases who you're playing. Last week, LSU gave up 40 44 free bases. Between walks, wild pitches, hit by pitch, errors, and pass balls, 44 free bases. This weekend they gave up only 12. They got outstanding starting pitching. William Schmidt, his deepest outing into an SEC game this season, right at 100 pitches for 6 innings, gave up 1 run. Grant Fontenot with a strong relief outing against South Carolina in Game 1, which was Saturday because Friday night they were rained out. Marcos Paz on Game 2 on Saturday went 5 innings, also a season long for him. 3 walks and 8 strikeouts, but only 1 hit and 1 run. Paz is following a script that is familiar to a lot of players that come off of Tommy John surgery. When you come off of the TJ surgery, you are back in a year throwing, but a lot of times it's the second year when you really start to see that they're back to 100% normal, and there's no substitute for the amount of rehab and the amount of workup of your arm that you have to do. Paz is now, he's not quite 2 years, but now here at the end of the season, you're seeing some of this start to pay off to what Jay Johnson and Nate Yeske did with him early in the season, which is bring him along slowly after missing an entire year. Paz is one of the guys that I'm looking most forward to for 27 because he was so highly rated coming out of Texas despite the injury. That slider is for real. It's a plus pitch in this league, and you're starting to see him develop that strength and stamina. And I think when you get to next year, when it'll be 2 full calendar years since the Tommy John, you're going to really see a guy that LSU counts on in the rotation next year. So it was great to see him go deep into the game. Devin Sheeran was really good in relief. And then on Sunday, Zach Cowan, who has been, after a rocky start, first couple weeks, 3 weeks of the season, has really been good for LSU, and they needed him last week. He had to pitch in the midweek game, and he had to pitch on Sunday. 10 shutout innings for LSU as they won them all. To keep what hopes they have left of making the postseason, I'll get to that in a second. But good relief work from Santiago Garcia and Gavin Guidry also. The Tigers played much better defense. They only made 2 errors the whole weekend. You're starting to see guys like Jack Ruckert and Mason Braun get more comfortable in their roles defensively. The catching was better. The catching has been really bad this season. The number of wild pitches, pass balls, the amount of pressure that they put on the pitching staff with just poor receiving behind the plate was not as evident this past weekend. Mason Braun, the freshman, really starting to come into his own as a leadoff hitter. Walked 6 times over the weekend. Certainly something that you like to see. He only had a couple of hits, but they put him up in that one hole, and he did a good job at seeing a lot of pitches. Omar Cerna, Kate Arambidi continue to swing good bats. LSU scored 6 on Friday, 7 on 6 on the first game on Friday, 7 on Saturday, 7 on Sunday. By and large, for the last couple of weeks, the offense has not been the problem. So all of that was good. I'm not going to go crazy and say, oh, well, this was a turning point like they said against Tennessee and anything like that. They beat a team that's not very good, that fired their coach at the beginning of the season, that has been, I would say, about a 350 team since then. They played a little bit better, but that's not in any way a postseason team. You give LSU credit for doing what they did this weekend, and it looks a lot cleaner. And it's a lot of young guys that are doing this. Braun and Cerna. Aaron Beatty is a second-year guy. Patrick, Ruckert, Santiago Garcia, Marcos Paz. All of this is very, very encouraging to see. Does it make where LSU has a chance to make the postseason? Mathematically, yes. They're 9-15. They probably need to get to 13 wins, which means they need to win 4 out of the next 6. Is that likely? It is not. It's probably a long shot, I would say, at this point, because you're going from playing South Carolina at home, which is one of the easier assignments that you'll get, to playing Georgia on the road. Georgia leads the conference. They have what I consider the top offense in the league from 1 to 9. They play in a hitter's park. The weather is warm. And I suspect that the offensive challenge for LSU is going to be really, really tough this weekend. If you get past that, Florida comes in for the final weekend, and Florida has probably the hottest pitcher going in the league right now in Aiden King, who was a tough luck, no decision for him on Friday night against Oklahoma.
You said Georgia?
No, then the following weekend is
Florida. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I missed when you skipped from Georgia to Florida.
So trying to win 4 out of 6 games with 3 of them at Georgia and at least one of them against Florida in Baton Rouge against Aiden King, no.
Aiden King is the best pitcher in the league.
Right now he is the hottest guy going.
Yeah.
Another strong outing on Friday night against Oklahoma. The bullpen let him down so he didn't get the win, but he has been the best pitcher in the league for the last at least month, maybe longer. He's going up against some top-flight offenses, so that's going to be very tough. But what they're doing is still building a little bit of a foundation, some momentum, hopefully going into next year. If they do make an improbable run, fantastic. More than likely, that's not going to happen. But it was good to see them win this past weekend. It was really cool to see on Saturday between the games the reunion of the 1996 team. I got a very long piece coming out on TigerBait.com tomorrow about my memories of 1996, which was my first trip to the College World Series. Jimmy drugged me along that year. He had been before. It was great to see a lot of those guys. It was great to see Skip out, able to reminisce with those guys. I understand they had quite a gathering on Saturday night after the game. So great for them and great to see that. So that's kind of where I'm at. You want to see improvement, and they definitely saw that this weekend.
All right. So here's the updated numbers at the plate for the Southeastern Conference. South Carolina is last in batting average with a .240 batting average. The second, that's 15 points behind the 15th. Alabama, 15th in hitting. Kind of doing it more with pitching, complete opposite of what they were for previous years, including last year. So runs scored, South Carolina is last. They have scored only 244 runs. Missouri, second to last, has scored 48 more runs than South Carolina this year. Going to Georgia, they're first in batting average, 325 batting average for the team. Second best is Mississippi State with 306, 19 points better. Runs scored, Georgia number 1, 466. Second is 406, Texas A&M. You went down for a tag this weekend, but you did only walk 6. You still got to put. Can they carry in the confidence that there's not a bigger spot in the conference for your pitching staff to attack the plate and gain some confidence? There's not a bigger jump up from one week to the next in caliber of competition in the hitting you're going to have to face.
Yeah, nobody's going to mistake South Carolina for a good team.
Playing at Athens?
Yes.
Kind of hitting friendly, huh?
It's a launching pad. It is a launching pad, and especially at this time of year. Now, South Carolina's got 1 Q1 win on the season. 3 of their 7 SEC wins are against Missouri, who's the worst team in the league. So nobody is going to confuse them with a good team. I was encouraged that LSU did the things that, doesn't matter who you're playing against. Are you catching the ball behind the plate? They did. Are you fielding the ball with some confidence? They are. They made 2 errors on the weekend. Are you getting a lot of hit batters? No. Are you getting a lot of walks? No. So that's good. All you can do is play who's in front of you. Again, I'm not holding out any false hope that this is a corner turner. It's a good stepping stone for a lot of the young players to see some success. Jimmy, when you get beat down so much when you lose so many games in a row. And there were a number of those games in that losing streak where they had a chance to win. They had
Sure.
7-2 and 7-3 leads, and you just it's bad. You like to see them have some success, a little bit of a reward for sticking
Clean
with this.
Crap up, man.
And they did a lot of that this
priced.
weekend.
I mean, come on, man. These guys are too good. I mean, these guys are some of the most sought after. Clean it up, man.
And it was a lot cleaner.
And so they gained a little confidence, I think, by their competitor. It's a completely different step up. It's a big step up next. So went down to Evangeline Downs for a tag and got a win. Now you're going up to Churchill.
Cash a check. The check cashes in Lafayette.
But I'm like you when we're talking about with that bogus non-conference schedule, okay? And I'm sorry, that's something that Jay Johnson has to rethink as well, because that non-conference schedule did not tune his team up for conference play. Didn't. Might not be. It's impossible to exactly prove how much it affected when they got into conference play, but I don't think you're sharp when you can just go through that bogus a competition, sloppy, and still win. I don't think you get sharp. And guess what? His team was not sharp, and this is one of the sloppiest teams we've seen in LSU. Very, very much. But the thing is, Charlie, that, we can still tell against Creighton, against SWAC team, against
Sacramento State,
East directional Wisconsin, who whatever it is, that hadn't even been outside to practice. We can still see when a ground ball is hit to the left side. We can see if you look clean or not.
Yeah.
We could see if you're just missing a cutoff guy and letting the guy, the hitter extend a single and go to second base to get out of the double play, instead of not keeping a double play in order. We can see where, a little ball in the dirt. Come on, man. I know the pitcher gets charged with a wild pitch, but you got to stop that behind the plate. So, that type of stuff. And I didn't see a whole lot this weekend, but it sounds like they cleaned a lot up, no matter who they're playing. But let's be fair. You talk about a different, a big. They go to Athens, take 2 out of 3. Oh, okay. Then we say, okay, well, we got to look at the rest of the schedule.
Georgia's got a 2.5 game lead for the conference title, regular season title, with 6 to play. So things break right for them this weekend. They could clinch the SEC regular season. And you're right, Jimmy. The beginning of SEC play was against what turns out to be the bottom half of the league. They played Vandy, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Oklahoma. That's 9, 10, 11, and 12 in the conference. LSU did, and they did not come out of the gate strong. They were 6-6 against those teams.
Yeah,
and that turns out to be the bottom of the league. When you stepped up and you had to play Texas A&M, Mississippi State, it gets a lot harder. And Georgia will be pretty tough next week. We're here at Chris's Specialty Foods. Man, they brought us on a nice little tray to sample on here. We got
those are always in the warmer. Tell them what you got. The different cracklings.
The boudin. First of all, you can your choice of boudin balls, either the regular or the pepper jack. You got a little bit of chicken. You got crackling, and they will they'll be able to pop that right out for you. It's right there at the front of the register. And then, of course, the lunch specials that we have here every week. And when we come here on Monday, I'm always bringing home for some time during the week one of the stuffed chickens. The stuffed chickens here are fantastic. You get them stuffed
with the shrimp or crawfish, Charlie?
The boudin.
Oh, the boudin.
The boudin is a favorite at our house.
Okay.
The shrimp is great. The crawfish is great. The spinach is outstanding. And that's just become a staple at our house. Tracy will ask me, like, your Chris's today? Don't forget to bring home chicken.
Yes, indeed. We're over here at Chris's today, and don't forget our lunch specials. Now, we serve lunch Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's very popular over here, man. A lot of people in this area come by for lunch. Today, in addition to all of the regular menu, the chef specials, smoked pork Philly-style wrap, served with the homemade chips. That's today's special. Tomorrow will be the Chris's fried chicken and waffles, topped with the Steen's cane syrup. Wednesday will be the barbecue platter, the smoked brisket, smoked wings, briskets, sausage, crawfish boiled potato salad, and baked beans. Thursday will be the hearty beef stew, served with steamed rice and corn mac choux. And then Friday, the lobster fado dough. Choose your style. The New England roll, served cold, the herb butter roll served hot, or the lobster grilled cheese on Friday. So that's our chef specials this Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. here at Chris's.
Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Annie, live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. We'll drop a new Handycast this afternoon for LSU baseball. It's brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com. Celebrating 90 years in business here in 2026, supporting our Louisiana farmers, SupremeRice.com. 152nd Kentucky Derby, Golden Tempo, 23-1 shot comes from... Damn, Jimmy, so much further than last. Last doesn't feel like you're doing it justice when you just say he's coming from last. He wasn't just in last. He was so far back of the pack to rally through. And Jose Ortiz, whose brother, Irad, is top jockey in the world right now? If not, pretty close to it.
I think me and Michael were talking about this weekend. He thinks that Flavian Pratt is.
Okay.
I think I read Ortiz is.
And he's on the what was the morning line favorite, Renegade, who had the one hole and got
which
beat
was
up,
damaging.
Yeah, every time.
It's not supposed to be as impactful as it used to before when they had that double an auxiliary gate. But now they have just one gate to accommodate 20 horses. But 20 horses in a field is. Who was the horse that started it all again? I mean, just like slammed 7 horses. I mean, it was one of those chain reaction, like those, those
had
pile up interstate wrecks or something.
Right there in the middle. So Golden Tempo basically comes from out of nowhere. Renegade, the morning line favorite, finishes second. I read Ortiz did what he could.
Renegade ran a great race.
If he comes out of the 6th or 7th hole, he probably wins this thing. If he comes out of any hole other than the 1, maybe he wins this thing.
Well, 1 through 6 got slammed pretty good.
They all got beat up. They all got
which opened the door for a long shot like this, and it's. The best horse doesn't win. You have to the trip handicap in the Kentucky Derby. It's off the charts. But the one thing about it, Charlie, it's an incredible race. On the turf races, horse racing enthusiasts like it because you have these late finishes where horses gain so much ground late. On the turf, that's way more common on the turf. Not so much on the dirt, but this is one of the longest stretches of any horse track, and so Fairgrounds is a very long one as well, and so maybe it lends itself, and also the pace wasn't super fast. It was so many horses trying to maneuver. Keep in mind, these horses are all developing. They're 3-year-olds, but they're also none of these horses have gone this long. The closest is 1 3/16. None of them have gone 1 1/4. So it lends itself to sort of just throwing up against the wall and see what sticks kind of deal. I mean, you can hit a long shot. You can have a horse that wins a 20-horse race that's not going to be able to compete in an 8 to 10 horse field. And that's what you had. So Ortiz ran an unbelievable race. I thought Renegade had won it. I was paying very close attention to Renegade, and I thought we're getting a great race. He had all kinds of problems. So if he runs in a Preakness, which he probably won't, that had to take a lot out of him. If he comes into Belmont, I think he's going to be a massive favorite.
Some of the other, and we did not hit on this race. We did not have the 23-1 shot.
Nobody did.
So, no, very, 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 very tough. Emerging market. The Louisiana Derby winner came in 10th. Chief Wallaby, who got a lot of the sharps, were on him. Ended up finishing 4th. I liked Commandment. He finished 7th. Michael Baychuk was a big Incredible fan with Flavian Pratt on him. Finished a good 6th. So Happy, who I think went into the gate as a favorite or close to it. So Happy.
So Happy was one of the better stories. It's a $150,000 horse when a lot of these horses are $3 and $4 million. Some up to like $8 million. He's a long-time West Coast trainer. And they put him out to on the workouts, and he showed nothing. But when it was time to run, boom, he runs, he pops. He won the Santa Anita Derby. This trainer out of California had never taken a horse to the Derby, had never won the Santa Anita Derby. He and his wife were kind of, partners. They were, as far as, she's there at every race. She passed just like months before. He wins the Santa Anita Derby and qualifies. So just I have, one of these stories that, kind of the Olympics part of the Derby is like the Olympics as far as they kind of get you up to speed on the background stories of Fleet Alex or, these type of really human interest stories. And there was one of them, but he handled all of the big boys out on the West Coast where a high number than usual, 5 California horses, and he was the class, or was he just this cheap horse that was having a good run that doesn't show us much in the workouts, but he knows when the lights are on. So, yeah, the Run Happy got a lot of So Happy is a Run Happy horse, got a lot of support.
Couple other notes. Cherie DeVoe becomes the first female trainer to win the Derby.
Go earn it. Don't let it given to you.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. Yes, indeed.
Started as an exercise rider and worked her way up through the stables.
So many of the women's sports are just kind of giving, kind of whatever, they subsidize the WNBA till they finally can make a little money, whatever. No, this girl going out and got it done against the men, and she earned it, and good for her. I think it's a great story.
Albus, the horse with the Baton Rouge connections through the Bernhardt family, finished 15th as a 50-1 shot.
One of two horses. He had tragically passed recently. Would never got a horse to the Derby. Now he had got horses to the Derby card, the undercard. But then he gets two, and he doesn't live to see it.
How hard it is just to get a horse in this race.
Well, you got
to go through that point series. You got to go through this Derby trial. You can't just say, "Hey, we'll put up the money and get your horse in the race." It's a different. You have to really earn it. So when you look at a 50-1 shot, and say, "Well, they had no chance." Look, just getting into this race is a big deal.
The horse at one could have easily gone off at 50-1.
Yes,
could have easily
absolutely
gone off at 50-1.
And then the Kentucky Oaks on Friday night. Michael Bachok did give us the winner there with Always a Runner going off at 5-1. One driving, ran a fantastic race, and Jose Ortiz, the double, won the Oaks and won the Derby.
Do that.
Yeah,
they have those bets where you can bet the Oaks and Derby double, and Ortiz does it, and that's when his brother, I know the Advocate, had on the front section of the paper today, had a thing about the sibling rivalry between the two. And so it was, and there was some people the locals it's very reminded me of the conversation when LSU football games moved to the day, how it hurts or it affects the local community and stuff like that. And so the business community, or this one, because all the locals were complaining, all the restaurants were complaining, we're not going to get any business. Then the people are not going to get out of the track until, keep in mind, it's Eastern time, until 9 o'clock. You can't leave Churchill Downs and get somewhere less than an hour. I mean, it's just, and they do an unbelievable job with their cab line. I mean, it just is what it is. And so they were all complaining. There were articles written with guys that know that you're slamming it, but you're trying to grow the sport. You're trying to grow it outside of its niche. It got 2.4 million of viewers. It averaged on NBC on Friday night, and quadrupled the previous record of 593 back in 1997 on ESPN. So it did. You were able to reach a lot more people than your niche, because horse racing, they got problems, right? Because this Kentucky Derby could not escape their biggest problem right now with guys like me and guys that go to the track and are going to bet. It costs us about $400 or $500 when the horse was 13-1. I'm making the bets for me and Michael. And I said, man, we got a 7-1 and we got a 13-1. Swing for the fences. I said, okay. So we bet the 13-1. When he crosses the line, he's 5-1.
That's computer-assisted wagering.
The computers bet 400 of the 900 times. Even in a high-volume day, they impacted. So I was at both of the races, which is getting a lot of the attention. That was at Del Mar when the 16-1 shot, or 18-1, went down to 6-1. This one as well is getting a lot of attention on Derby Day.
I'm going to let you describe exactly what that whole thing is tomorrow for No Class, because it is hurting the spot. I understand that the tracks themselves are doing fine, but the common horse player is being hurt here. And it's a No Class thing, but I'll let you talk about that tomorrow.
But they want their biggest customer. Do we not want our biggest sponsor?
We do.
Here?
We do.
So, but it is affecting your core people. So it's like, it's an interesting. But they gotta. You don't want to eliminate all the core people, because then you don't have. You don't have enough in the pool for these two people to bet as well.
There is. Hey, George, it's great that the Yankees had the biggest payroll. You got to play against somebody.
But before, and I know we're going long, but it'd be before we. Say, well, it's not going to impact. They can't impact like the Derby. They can't impact. Like Dave Portnoy says, I'm betting less on low-profile days because these guys can just crush the Derby. Not on Not on Derby Day. They can't affect it. They did.
They did.
They did. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services, which you get when you call 296-0060. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Mariana Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road. Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. Three best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
All right, Troy, how was your weekend, buddy?
It was good. No complaints here. Nice weather. Got a chance to catch the Derby, so that was good. Yeah, it was just a solid late spring weekend all across the board.
Yeah, Charlie, I think when we were just talking about the computer guys hitting one of the early cards that affected me directly, but still, with the increased viewership of the Oaks as a lead-in, and just the race itself was just so exciting, man.
Yeah.
I think the Derby, and let me tell you, I was down on the coast. It was unbelievable crowd. I mean, so many people bet it. That's the only race they bet all year long. I get it, but it's just, that's where you have the Derby is alive and well. One thing, with all the nice cool weather that we had, Charlie, you were down at Jazz Fest and stuff like that. You picked the long straw on that one. You got the best weather day in the history of Jazz Fest. It was the coldest Derby in 50 years.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, would think, you go up to Kentucky, I mean, the event is built around prime weather season for them. Well, if it's unseasonably cool for them, it's flat out cold for the Derby, but they still it's still a monster, man. It was really, really good stuff. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, I guess was the big spike over the weekend. And tell us about what were the big handle games, maybe the Sixers and Celtics in that Game 7 over on was that Friday or Saturday night? What was the big highlight of handle over the weekend?
Yeah, it was the Celtics-Sixers game. And, I get that the Celtics are certainly not the Celtics they were 2 years ago. And I also understand that Bet Rivers is, very big in the state of Pennsylvania. Certainly we have brick-and-mortar casinos in Philadelphia, and our, online, a large portion comes from Philadelphia. We took a massive loss on that game, high six figures. Went to the public because there was a ton of money on the 76ers. 65% of the money line money was on the Sixers. 68% of the spread money was on the Sixers. And I'm a bit surprised by that because, the Celtics have dealt with the injuries. I just have always thought that they're a very public team, not as much as the Lakers or maybe the Thunder, but there is also the history of the Sixers not being able to win closeout games. This was Joel Embiid's first ever Game 7 win, I believe, and he's been in the league for a decade. I had no trust or faith in the 76ers. I figured that would be the case for bettors as well. So to see the public win, handle the fifth in this one was a bit surprising. Good for them. They called it right. The Sixers played very well in the second quarter. And we're able to stave off, some comeback attempts, and it looked very close there towards the end. But, I believe this is the biggest public win of the playoffs. I know the Rockets beating the Lakers in, Game 5 was the biggest sportsbook win we've had, and that was over seven figures. But this was a very, very big and good result for the public.
You're hitting on something that is very interesting, and it is uncommon for the dog to be – because the higher seed, the team at home is always favored.
Right.
But to get the square action the way it did, to get the common action, I think has got to be with the line movement. And it went from 8.5 to 4.5. And why did it do so? Because Jason Tatum was ruled out. So on one hand, you had the third game back for Embiid. He was not good in Game 5, but Game 6 he was really good, and in 7 he's available. And I think Tatum, I don't know what else it could be for such an uncommon move, because if everybody's at full strength, I think they come with the Celtics action.
Yeah, and the other thing, obviously with NBA and NFL player props is such a huge thing. And so we do know that, playoff games can be a little bit tighter, a little bit more low scoring. This game was, I don't know if it hit the over-under, but I know it was played in the 220s, I believe. It was like 114 to 108 or something like that. So, when you remove Jason Tatum, that opens up the opportunity for more, maybe not long shot, but 3-to-1 plays for the Celtics on player props and rebounds and things like that. So when the points are scored, you're more likely to hit on a lot of the props. So it doesn't matter necessarily, spread or money line, because a lot of the props hit. So in addition to the public getting it right on the money line and the spread, also a ton of props hit. When the stars perform in the brightest moments, that goes a long way towards the public picking up a big win.
We're quick to criticize Embiid when he's not in shape and
Right.
not available and all that stuff. He was phenomenal in this series. 4 games off of a 3-week layoff, and look, my man was gassed by the end of that game on Saturday. But he laid it out there: 28 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists was his average in those 4 games. Boston won 2 of the 3 that they won in this series before he got on the floor. So when you add in the Embiid factor and the Boston three-point shooting factor, they were under 30% again in this game.
Yeah.
It lined up for Philly here.
Yeah, it's just Embiid was really good too, though. I mean, he's a dog. He's out of shape, but he is talented and he is dangerous. And I mean, because it was almost a gate to wire win for Philadelphia. I mean, they didn't even kept him pretty much at arm's length the entire time. Now, of course, if you're in a restaurant like I was, and if they don't have, at the bar, they don't have the streaming, I mean, they go out of their way to try and, keep as few people watching the games as possible. But
Second only to Major League Baseball.
I mean, so anyway, but Philly, the big one there. What about, did you see some of the people with the doubleheader yesterday and the 2 games tonight? Did you see sort of a chalk, these 3 and 4 team money line parlays on the favorites with such big favorites tonight?
No, not as much.
Not much? Okay.
I thought, checking on Monday morning for big parlays and seeing which ones still had some legs left. There wasn't as many as I anticipated. And I wonder if it's, potentially one of the matchups. And there's some injuries, I think you're going to see some lopsided betting in the Spurs series. The fascinating one for me is going to be Lakers Thunder, just how people bet that. I think we're going to take a lot of money on the Lakers because they're so public, regardless of the fact that they're playing the most sure-handed thing we have in the NBA right now in the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I'm very intrigued by that, but not a ton of massive parlay winners that included a lot of NBA sides.
So maybe it's just our demographic, but as the load management and these guys that don't want to play in the NBA, and then we see these guys beating the crap out of each other in hockey. It seems like we're gaining a little bit of respect with age of this. How close, how much, or if at all, do the NHL playoffs handle catching or gaining ground on the NBA playoffs?
Not all that much.
Not much. Okay.
There's still a pretty decent gap. And it's, if you took like the middle sections of both of those, maybe it's closer. Like if you took the most wagered on games ranked 15 to 30 in both, there's probably some more similarities, but the top end, is not even close. The most wagered on game of the NBA playoffs thus far is probably 2 to 3 times the handle of the NHL.
Do we have properties in Canada? Are we in Canada? Maybe only in Canada, huh?
We are no brick and mortar properties, but we are. We have online sports betting in Ontario and Alberta.
And those numbers have to be a lot closer, if not better.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And I would say that hockey betting has gone up, but so has NBA betting.
Okay, it is going up. It's just it's a gradual pace. Any other highlights that we missed up from the weekend, Troy?
No, it's really been basketball centric. There's some Long Island winners. that we've hit on golf, which is very good. It's disappointing that we don't have the horse racing because really you can capture a large target audience in with the 3 big races. And to your point, especially with I feel like it's such a late post time at like 7 o'clock Eastern, which usually it's around 6:20 or something. I found myself glued to the previous 6 or 7 races. Also, having 2 little girls who I was taking care of because my wife was out of town. Anytime I can distract them by saying, "Hey, come watch the horses on TV," it makes it a little bit easier for me to watch sports as well. But horse racing licenses are very tricky and different. To the point, where to bet on it, if you're in a market that has it legal, you have to use a secondary app from the sportsbook app that you're using. I wish we were able to have it because, I would have been all over it. With minimal knowledge, I would have been laying lots of bets in the 30 minutes leading up to post time. But when the race is good, it's can't miss event on the sports. It's always a can't miss event on the sports calendar. But when the race is good, it is as good as any sporting event on the calendar. And this race was exceptional.
Follow Troy on Twitter at Troy Macker. That's Machir. Great stuff, Troy. We'll talk to you on Friday, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget, we're over here at Chris's Specialty Foods, right across Highland Road from Rufino's. I did make a mistake. Our lunch special today is the chef special is the beef brisket stuffed potato. Oh. The beef brisket stuffed potato. Tomorrow will be the crawfish enchiladas with the street corn. Wednesday will be a panko-crusted pork cutlet with andouille meuniere. Thursday will be the pork, rice, and gravy. And then Friday, the lobster rolls. Our weekly lunch specials over here Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Chris's Specialty Foods.
Live at Chris's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Out and Hanny, live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
Will Wade rounding out his coaching staff with the hire of Vernon Hamilton. Coming back to Baton Rouge, he was with LSU basketball on Wade's was with them for the 2020 to 22 seasons on Wade's staff. He was also with Wade at McNeese for 2 seasons from 23 to 25, and he was with his staff last year for North Carolina State. So the coaching staff is filled out. The players, they are still at one commitment. Wade has been apparently all over Europe and
apparently he's been there
and parts of even it feels like the western part of Asia. He's been all over. And Jimmy, the more we hear about it, the more you'll get your announcement. Maybe not all 12 or 13 players at one time, but you're going to get a large batch when they finally do decide to announce some of this stuff. And
it's happening later than anybody expected. Yeah. But this is his strength as a roster builder. Is it cause for a little anxiousness? Yes. But I'll promise you this, Charlie. We will have about a better roster than we have had the past 4 years.
I've answered it the same way everybody's asked me. I said, I'll judge the roster when he puts it on paper and it's done. I'm not gonna panic or anything like that. We'll see what it looks like when it's over, and I'm kind of confident like you are. If it's not, we'll tell you that at the time. Hour number 2 straight ahead at Chris's 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Out and Hanny, live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
Here at Chris's Live at Lunch, hour number 2. Come on by and see us.
That's a good lunch, Charlie.
Yeah. Got a whole list of things.
May the 4th be with you. Yes, the Star Wars guys loved brisket stuffed potatoes. So that's what we're doing over here at Chris's Specialty Foods. So, yes, indeed.
Did I say T-Bob in a robe this morning?
I'm sure. Let's bring in Henry Hayes, talk about the NBA playoffs. Henry, I was ready to, doom and gloom or like, oh, man, after the first 2 days of it, the 2 quadruple headers where it was so chalk heavy, you had all these routes and, man, you had 6 of the 8 series, go 6 games, 3 Game 7s, and boy, tell me the one that Friday nights compares to where Orlando in Game 6 has a 30-point lead and loses by, 15, 18, whatever it was. I mean, that collapse, 27 missed shots in a row, I believe it was.
Yeah, thank you, little Han Solo. No, that was crazy because, boy, the Magic were chirping, too. I don't know if you watched the game, but a little bit it shows their immaturity, and Detroit just hung in there. That's why I think last week I said, look, stick with the Pistons. They're the tougher team, more physical. And we've talked about dozens of times on y'all's show. NBA teams have to learn, and they have to get their scars, and they have to get beaten up. And for the Magic, this is that for them, and we'll see where they go from here. There's a lot of sliding door, left-right moments for teams on this Monday. The Nuggets, the Celtics, and we could talk about that. But yeah, there've been some dud games, but there've also been some games where you just scratch your head and go, "What just happened?" Like the Lakers-Rockets series. I mean, shame on Houston.
Yeah.
And boy, we're really starting to get into a trend, Jimmy, where what looked like could be a top 10 player of all time career in Kevin Durant now kind of looks like it's like, hey, Kevin, it's you. It's not where you are. So that's another team that has a lot of questions.
Oh, wait, but Henry, he's not available.
Look,
I mean, this is a team that is dire need of a shooter, and he's not available to play.
Nice job of not giving them a ton of time off between these series. So, there's NBA.
Well, what? So we're going to knock Kevin Durant because he was unhealthy? He couldn't play?
Well, I think in regards to what he played against the Lakers, the games he didn't play, okay. But the three of the last, I think it's 5 times that they played the Lakers, he's had one of the lowest shooting percentages and the most turnovers as well. That was in at least 2 games in
yes,
his
he did.
series.
Yes, he did. That's fair. I think it was game 2 for sure. Yeah.
So at this point in his career, if he's going to miss some games, I mean, he's a vet. He's got a lot of miles on the odometer. But there were some games that he played that did not go particularly
That's
well
true.
for him either.
Okay, but the last 3 he was out, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, show.
Durant's one of those guys. He's been so many places. He's polarizing because his talent's unquestioned. But you wonder, when they won at Golden State, and I know he's the MVP of the finals, but that was Steph's team. It was Draymond Green's team. It was Klay Thompson's team. And ever since then, he's sort of been dictating, I want to go to Brooklyn. I want to go to Phoenix. I want to go to Houston.
Well,
and the success
he and everybody
followed.
else, Charlie. I mean,
But he's a bigger name than just about anybody else.
That's one of the most special runs in the NBA, and he was the best player in that postseason.
He was. He was. But when you think of those teams, do you think Durant's teams? I'm not saying I agree with any of this, but
I'm just saying when they were all together, he was the best player.
He was the
he
MVP.
was the most impactful player on that team in that
MVP,
postseason.
He was the MVP of the finals, and that you cannot
and deservedly so.
You cannot take that away. No, he did.
Do we have Henry back, Jordan? Are we? Jordan? Oh, yeah, Henry, I think we got him back now. Henry, I was kind of debating a little bit, about the Durant thing. I want you to go into further detail because in that special run, I don't know if you heard us talk about the Golden State. He was the best player. He was the NBA Finals MVP of one of the best, more legendary runs when they were all healthy and all in their prime. And he didn't play the last 3 games. He did not play well. He turned the ball over a lot in game 2, but he didn't play so many of these games in these series.
Yeah, and it's just team after team and situation after situation that's not right for him. It's like you don't know what he wants. He goes from a rookie in that situation with, of course, Harden and Westbrook, which you can understand. That seems like forever ago. He wants that kind of his own team. You understand why he would want to get a ring, and a lot of people called that ring chasing with Steph in Golden State. But it just you kind of scratch your head and go, what do you want? What are the prerequisites? So, unfortunately, I think it's really starting to kind of stain his career because Houston clearly had a culture problem in that locker room. And look, Ime Udoka knows what he's doing. That's a good coach that they have on that sideline. So I don't know where he goes from here. Yeah, the shame of it is, and Jimmy, I'm a big USA basketball nerd. If Kevin Durant's arguably the greatest USA basketball player in the history of the sport. So 2 different sports, but yeah, he's not having a good back 9 of his career for sure.
All right. What about you're talking about the Sixers and Tatum being out, that big of a deal. Embiid, he was able to come back. He's a headache. He's He is always his conditioning has always been compromised, but he is a talent and he is dangerous, and he proved that in Game 7 where they go in there and win. First time ever Celtics blow a 3-1 playoff series lead ever in their history. That's saying a lot.
Yeah, my smarty pants self, Jimmy, came on your show and said the Celtics wouldn't lose the game. So what do I know? Look, here's the thing with the Boston. That's why I really like them coming into the playoffs. If you watch those guys this year, I'm talking about December, January, February, which I know most of your listeners aren't tuned in, they played hard. They were top 7 in the league in defensive efficiency. They were deeper. And, of course, they were doing this without Jason Tatum. So the thought was, okay, Tatum comes back. You can get something from him. They're deeper. Jaylen Brown's kind of stepped into that A-plus player role, and they got a really good coach. But, boy, they fell apart with respect to their rotation. Missoula did some head-scratching things with the starters. And then, of course, you live by the 3 and you die by it, and they died by it. And you said it. I mean, when Embiid's right, and that's Philly fans are chuckling now because that's not a lot. But when he's right, he is a nightmare matchup. Back to the USA Basketball. You remember, Jimmy, the last team we had, it was a big deal to get Embiid to commit to play for the Americans because he's kind of the Wemby, Wemby killer, if you will, because he makes him play defense down in that low post. And there's not a lot of guys left like Joel Embiid who could take you on the block and really up and under you to death, but he can also hit the three. Boy, I tell you what, you look at Philly's top 4, and even with OKC, Jimmy, I mean, Philly's top 4 can play with anybody. And so they're playing house money now. You know, how much is Embiid healthy? We'll see. But clearly, not since 1982 had the Sixers beat the Celtics in the playoffs. So big win for Philadelphia.
Well, the Olympics are a completely different sport because they don't have as much time to create chemistry, so it is a lot on individual talent. A guy, I can tell you, the guy is way better in the Olympics than he was as far as winning basketball, way better in the Olympics than he ever was in the NBA because he's a stat chaser. It's Carmelo Anthony. You know, you can throw the ball down to him. He's so talented, but his just look at his playoff record. I mean, he doesn't play winning basketball. His style doesn't lend to it. So let's talk about the Pistons, though. Did they learn something in this, having to come back from 3-1, having to come back from, so big down in Game 6 on the road? Did they learn something that is going to allow them to make a run now?
Well, that's a big learning. I mean, anytime, Jimmy, you're down 30, I mean, forget – even in the regular season, you come back and win down 30 on the road when the pressure's on. And now we're talking about playoffs. No, for sure, this group grew up. And I think, I really like Cade Cunningham as the leader of that team. He had the kind of the hit-or-miss college career, kind of like Anthony Edwards at Georgia, Ben Simmons at LSU, teams that didn't really do great in college. But, boy, you could see it with his size, his physicality, his ability to run the team from the point guard position. And give him credit. His defense has gotten better. He is a problem. And so I think, they can hang their hats knowing when you can stay together and come back from down that much. And again, the arena's on fire. The Magic are chirping, and not only do they win going away. That team plays defense. They're tough. So I think they're going to be a problem. And again, they're so young. So this is going to help them to keep this core together for another 2-3 years.
I mean, they just and listen. I know you said they're more the physical team, but I thought Orlando banged pretty good with them. Banchero is a monster, man. He's so damn big. I mean, he is thick for a guy that is that skilled. So I thought they banged with him. I did want to, Franz Wagner being out as well. So it was kind of a player availability who's been a big deal, minus maybe the Minnesota Timberwolves. The way this playoffs has come, because Wagner, you missed him. He did not play in Games 5, 6, and 7. They lost all 3. Tatum was out. They lost Game 7. Embiid's back. He's helped them come back. So, and Durant, being out, hurt them because they need a shooter so much because that team their weakness is by far, the shooting. So can the Sixers compete with the Knicks now? Or how good is the Knicks? Did the Knicks show us something, in putting away the Hawks in historical fashion? The only team ever to be on the road and get to 100 before the home team gets to 50.
Well, the underrated part about this New York team, Jimmy, especially in New York, is the way they play defense. We like to talk about Jalen Brunson and some of the other guys they have, like Mikal Bridges and Cat and Josh Hart, Mitchell Robinson, etc. But these guys play really well cohesively on the defensive side. And I think that's going to be interesting for Philly. Now, look, these two know each other very, very well, just like the Sixers knew the Celtics. You do have to kind of wonder what's left in Embiid's tank. But, boy, that is a bad matchup for Karl Anthony Towns because you do not want to get Towns in foul trouble. So I'll say this, though. New York's defense does translate. Whether they're making their shots or not, Atlanta found that out. And so, it's a coin flip. I don't know because I think that, boy, that big four of Philly, and when they're rolling and they're on the floor together, Maxi's confidence and a guy named Paul George who we kind of forget. Paul George, pretty darn good two-way player. But, boy, that defense in New York travels. So that's going to be an entertaining one to watch.
All right, Luka's out at least the first two games. Ant is questionable in these lopsided matchups in the Western Conference.
Boy, yeah, it's too bad, Jimmy, because the Lakers just, and again, shame on the Rockets. I mean, the Lakers are held together with duct tape, chewing gum, and some super glue.
Yeah.
Luke Kennard is the second best player on the floor. DeAndre Ayton's playing 38 minutes, 41-year-old LeBron. And yet here they are. Reeves is back. I don't think it's going to matter, Jimmy, if Luka plays. The Thunder not only beat the Lakers 4-0, the average margin was 29.6 points. So they didn't beat them. They destroyed them. And so I think, honestly, the Thunder are kind of playing like a cat playing with a mouse. The question is for the Thunder, are they mature enough to get them off their feet 4 games and sweep them? Because that's what they should do. This team has no business winning a game in this series. And you say, well, can the LeBron Magic at 41 years old continue? The only question is, do they sweep them? Because OKC is so good and they're so focused, and this team does not match up well with them. So on the Timberwolves side, other guys chipping in, but it tends to be, to me, a little bit more of a flash in the pan. In other words, can they get those kind of performances out of role players night in, night out? I don't think so. And so, look, Edwards is the heartbeat of that team. So, and obviously no DiVincenzo, he's out indefinitely. So, it stinks when your offensive guys like that are not going to play. And so I do think that'll affect that series.
Henry, can I get your take on the Pelicans coaching search? We're getting down to it now, and maybe we had Jamal Mosley's name after he was dismissed in Orlando today, but the name that's got everybody buzzing is Rajon Rondo, who's been on Doc Rivers' staff for the last couple of years as a special assistant. We know him from, he's got multiple rings, and he was with the Pelicans the last time they won a playoff series. How serious are they about Rondo and Rondo about them, and your thoughts on the rest of the candidates on this list?
It goes back, Charlie, to Joe Dumars, because it's his call, right? You're talking about a guy that was in the league, obviously as a player, and then as a GM for many years in Detroit, and then had a, by the way, 13, 14-year absence. And so I think it depends on, Charlie, what do they want this team to be going forward? Because as bad as they've played, there are some silver linings. I mean, lo and behold, Zion played, 68 games maybe, which is all of us would have lost the mortgage on that bet. You still have guys like Herb Jones and Murphy, and so there are pieces there. The draft class was good. You are in the Western Conference, so what's the identity? Are you going to get up and down? Are you going to build on defense? Rondo's interesting because if you go back to kind of his playing days, Charlie, that was the only player in the league that could put Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce on notice in terms of, even though he was younger, Rajon Rondo has his own way of thinking and doing things, trust me. And so, to me, it's one of those things where Sam Cassell's on a bench right now. Can he move up to the head seat? Sometimes that gap's a little larger than people think. So time will tell. But we have seen this playbook work a lot, where the GM says, "Let me get a player who's not retired 15 years ago. He knows these guys. He knows the travel schedules. He knows load management. He can relate to them. And Rondo would check that box. Now you give him credit for paying his dues and sitting on that bench for as long as he has. It tells you he's serious about this. So it's an intriguing name, but I will say it's high upside. It's also low floor in terms of it's going to be his way. So could be like fishing with dynamite there. But again, it just depends on what Dumars wants the team to be. There are some pieces, but I'll give you one, Charlie. Would you take the call if Boston called you and said, Jaylen Brown's on the block? We got to figure out this Tatum Brown thing. We're going to have to figure it out. We want Murphy and maybe Jones and a first rounder. Those are the kind of decisions with the roster, the way the Pelicans are built now. They're going to get calls like that. So I think it just depends on what's the 2 to 3 year vision that Dumars has for this team, and then obviously you want to find a guy that fits that.
I don't know that maybe Rondo's going to be a great coach. Maybe he's not. I know that there were two things about Rondo that I always respected. Number one, he was a smart player, and number two, he was a tough player. Now, he wasn't a great shooter. He wasn't even a good shooter, but he knew that. And when he got on teams, they tended to do better. They tended to play tougher, and Dumars has used that word over and over, tough. Because if there's one thing the Pelicans haven't done a lot of, it's play tough. They got a little bit better under Borrego for a stretch there this season, but for the most part, it's been a soft team. It hasn't always been an overly intelligent basketball IQ team. And the way they're put together with no rim protection and poor rebounding, and Queen and Williamson can't really play together effectively, it's a flawed team. So I would be willing to take a shot with Rondo if he just comes in there and instills some basketball IQ and some toughness and start there, and then you can kind of figure out what you want the roster to look like. I find myself more in favor of this than not, and I understand the risks involved with it.
Yeah, and look, I think I hate to say this, Charlie, but the Pelicans are almost kind of one of those teams that you kind of need a gimmick. You kind of need we're going to run the wing tee, or we do things a whole lot differently. We play on blue turf. I mean, the West is so loaded, and it's New Orleans is not the NBA hotbed, right? So you're not going to be a free agent destination. So you could justify saying, look, we're going to take a guy with more risk and more reward. Played in the league, has a lot of respect, but like I said, it is going to be his way. And if him and Dumars were to get crossways, that's not going to end well. So that's the risk they take. And the other guy's Steve Hetzel, which would be kind of the more safe candidate. Been in the league for a long time, assistant on the Nets bench right now. Darvin Ham's also been mentioned. Of course, got fired from the Lakers, and a lot of people think he got a little bit of a raw deal there. Ham is pretty well thought of. So, we'll see what Dumars does.
All right, Henry, we appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you soon throughout the rest of the postseason. Thank you, buddy.
Get Hanny in a Chewbacca costume.
There you go, Chihani.
I'm not tall enough.
There you go.
Yes, indeed. Don't forget our friends at Total Maintenance. Total Maintenance at AC breaks down, man. You got to call our friends at Total Maintenance. I mean, Lucas Ragusa and his crew doing a great job for a number of years. He's been working in the AC repair business as long as we've been doing sports talk in this industry. 480-1000. That is the key number, 480-1000. Tell them you heard it right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Make sure to sign up also if they have to come out to your place, and even if they don't, the membership programs that cover all services with discounts and extended warranties. We'll let you know when it's time for your unit to be serviced. You got enough to worry about. That way it keeps your unit clean, keeps it working at its optimum efficiency, lower monthly bills, and avoids more costly repairs. Total Maintenance, 480-1000. Service today every day means same-day service. You call today, you get service today. Nobody sleeps hot when they call 480-1000 Total Maintenance.
Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at Lunch 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with That and Yanni. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
And return here at Chris's live at Lunch. Jimmy, we lost one of the one of the more distinctive voices in sportscasting over the weekend in John Sterling, who passed away at the age of 87. Actually, it was earlier today. Made, I would say, his biggest mark with the Yankees. He was there for over 5,000 Yankee games, and that's where you know him from mostly. I remember him being on the Braves broadcast back in the early 80s on Superstation, which was for a good piece of the 80s. If you watched the Braves on TBS or you watched the Cubs on WGN, those broadcast crews kind of became synonymous with, baseball. Those were the guys you listened to. And for, the Cubs, it was Harry Carey and Steve Stone. But for the Braves, it was Ernie Johnson, Sr., Skip Carey, Pete Van Wieren, and for a short period of time, I'd say probably about 4 years.
I don't really remember him with the Braves.
He was.
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I just don't remember him.
Yeah, he was like the fourth member of the crew. And I got to go to a Braves game when I was a teenager, and he was down on the field. It was a rain delay, and he came over and started talking to the fans. He was obviously a lot younger back then. That was in the 80s, but the signature call. You either loved it or you hated it, depending on the Yankees do elicit.
The Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Nobody's impartial on the Yankees, right? You
And
either love them or hate them.
I'm not I'm a Yankee hater, and I would like to use it. The Yankees lose or whatever. So I would play off of it that. But all rise when Judge hits, one.
Yeah.
I mean, Bernie Williams, burn, baby, burn. And, of course, A-Rod, an A-bomb from A-Rod. The text message from Texera, Robinson Cano, don't you know? So he did have all those calls. He was a signature call. And so he was, yeah, man, and then the Susan Walden and the kind of the banter between those two was distinct, to say the least. So. Yeah, no, just retired too, man. Was it
in 2024?
Last year or no?
2024.
Was that okay? It was 2.5 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, he got
2 years ago.
For the modern times, the best run. I mean, he got the Yankees in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
the mid 90s to the mid 2000s, maybe the best team modern day best run. He got Jeter in the core four and 4 and 5 years, and Rivera, and I mean. It's a sportscaster's dream, right?
Yeah. That's the best run of our lifetime in the major leagues, huh?
In our lifetime.
Yeah.
The Braves won so many regular season games, but the
playoff
they
won one?
Won in 95. And the Yankees, 96, 98, 99, 2000, came within an eyelash of winning the 2001 series, one of the maybe the only save
the Diamondbacks?
Rivera, the Diamondbacks. Maybe the only save Rivera only ever blew in the World Series.
Was that a save? They had the lead?
Well,
or was it?
Yeah, I thought
it was a save.
When Luis Gonzalez came up with the hit, Craig Counsell came around.
Lost at 6 to the Marlins with Josh Beckett.
In
93, Charlie.
93.
2003.
2003. Yeah.
When it's a Bartman year.
When the Marlins won in 97, they beat Cleveland. And then,
Yeah, so but 2003, the Cubs with a 3-1 lead to the Marlins, and Beckett just kept it going.
Yes. So and he took the right Josh Beckett, Hamilton. Which one?
I mean, he's that run is that's an Hershiser. That's help me out, my boy, the lefty for the Giants.
Bumgarner.
Yeah, Bumgarner.
Madison Bumgarner.
I mean, it's a legendary run, man. So
really one of the historic runs in all of baseball. John Sterling passed away at the age of 87. We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store and the Pierreport Store. Mother's Day is coming up, and there's some gifts that Mom is going to like. First of all, a huge selection of plants, lightweight, durable. If you want to get Mom a plant or some outdoor furniture, that is available too. Custom cypress furniture down at the Thibodeau Store. Things you can't get anywhere else. There's a selection of rockers, gliders, benches, swings, all available at the Thibodeau Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau. And as we get into the summertime months, outdoor cooking equipment, outdoor power equipment, patio furniture, all available for you. You can go to thethibodeaustore.com. We'll get you to all 4 sites, Thibodeau, Pierreport, LaRose, and Lockport. And now with lumber available at all 4, you got a construction project, get your lumber from the Thibodeau Store. Their delivery specials are out of Pierreport and Lockport, so they can get it to you no matter where you are. If you're going fishing down on the coast, Thibodeau Store, great place to stop in and get your gear. Open daily until 5:30 p.m., 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau, the Thibodeau Store, and online, thethibodeaustore.com. Live at Chris Specialty Foods, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Yanni, live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
And we're also brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain. Dr. Michael Goff and his staff working hard to make sure that you get a little bit of easement from that pain, whether it be back pain, muscle soreness, neck pain, things that are keeping you from getting around as well as you'd like, things that are kind of dominating your day or keeping you from getting a good night's sleep. Let them target those problem areas, get you to feeling better. Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla. They'll make a plan that's right for you and get you to feeling better. That's what they've done for our family for many, many years. Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. Good news coming out for the Zurich Classic this morning. Multiple reports that the PGA Tour is confirming dates for 2027, including the Zurich from April the 22nd to 25th. So they're in their same slot next year at Avondale. Max, this is good news, but it's not the end all. The major changes, if I'm reading this right, help me out here. The real drastic movement to the PGA Tour schedule is scheduled for 28, and by that time we figure Liv will be well in the rearview mirror. By that time, that's kind of the year that everybody's pointing toward. But at least for now, this is good news for the Zurich.
We're going to see a different start of the year next year, so you're going to have no Hawaii swing at all. There was one of them was canceled this year anyway, the Tournament of Champions, but the Sony Open no longer as well. That's going to be a Champions Tour event. I think they're going to start with the American Express in California next year, and then they might shift the Torrey Pines around or something like that. I think there'll be some changes next year, but not significant. They've got too many contractual differences to sort out as to. I don't think they can just change the whole schedule next year. I think that would probably be what Brian Rowlett would prefer, but I think there's just too much red tape in the way for them to change all that much. And so, yeah, the Zurich is safe on the schedule now for the next few years because of their strong sponsorship. They want to appease Zurich in some capacity, and they want to appease New Orleans because Zurich wants to stay there. But whether the tournament is, all that high profile, I mean, it hasn't been in some time, but I think it will continue to get kind of screwed based on its placement and the tournaments around it, which we saw it this year. They added a tournament in Doral, which we saw last week, and that significantly affected who was going to play in the Zurich as well.
Well, it's the way I see it, and my limited knowledge of this, it's a survive and advance. Right now, you're at a real crossroads in golf with what's happening at the end of Liv, the elevated events, what this all looks like in 28. I'm going to take any good news that I can get. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come. Hope that everything goes well for the Zurich. So that was good news today. At Doral this past weekend, Wes Reynolds, if he was going to give us a 1-2 exact, I thought he'd give it to us at the Kentucky Derby.
That was good.
He gave us Cam Young and Scotty Scheffler in a top 10, we call it parlay, I guess. But they came not just in the top 10, they came in 1-2. Cam Young wins this thing by 6 strokes, kind of going away, guys, and he's in big form heading into PGA.
And he gave out Cam Young to win.
Then he gave out Cam Young
the outright winner there.
What
almost
was he, 14-1?
Plus 1275 is what I had seen when he gave it out on Wednesday. So almost 13-1 on someone who's playing great golf. I mean, honestly, right now on the PGA Tour, or really all of golf, if you combine all the tours together, to me there is the most clear top 5 that I can remember seeing. There's such a gap to me between everyone else, and Cam Young's in that top 5. I think it's Scotty and Rory. I mean, Rory won the Masters. You can't take him out. Scheffler isn't winning much, but he comes runner-up. I think he's got 3 straight runner-ups now, so he's right there.
If he'd just show up on Thursdays,
that would help. That would help.
He had a good start Thursday, and then just fizzled.
Yeah, well, 1 under for the round, but yeah, it was a good front 9 for him at least.
Right.
And then you've got Matt Fitzpatrick, who's won 3 times this year already, including with his brother, who, by the way, the moaning about Alex Fitzpatrick, he finished top 10 after an emotional win, at Doral, his first official PGA Tour membership tournament, and he comes top 10. So I would, that'll quiet the haters one more week. It should, but maybe it won't. You're probably right. It probably won't. But
no, it's not.
It should. It should. He's a good player. He's a class player. And then who am I blanking on? Oh, John Rahm. John Rahm's good enough on Liv. I think he's top 5. But who's next out of that after that bunch? I don't know. But Cam Young is playing phenomenal golf. Really opened things up last year when he changed his golf ball, less spinnier golf ball, and that's really unlocked a new level for him. Something we expected when he played really well at majors, but had yet to win on the PGA Tour.
You could put Rahm in there.
He is. I know he had a rough Masters. We don't see
a
him
horrible Masters. And it's
he did make the cut.
It's the only tournament he competed against the class of the field.
He almost won the PGA last year. And I'm
going back to last year.
I'm a John Rahm hater, but what else do we have to go off?
That's a whole
of,
cycle of majors ago.
All right, are we
talking
about
form? What kind of form was Cam Young back then? He wasn't really hitting on anything yet. So I don't know about that. So
I mean, his live results have been fantastic. Are we going to go off of that?
Like I said, no, discount all that.
So he has one tournament.
I bet Rahm in the thing. Based on the lifting, I'm discounting him now. Yes,
but I mean, I can't judge him on like 4 rounds.
That's garbage he's playing with. That's a dying. It's
I
garbage.
agree, but he's top 5 player right now. And
That's your opinion.
I'm a Rahm hater, but
I think there's a difference between those. So we got.
There is a clear difference, and it doesn't. We
don't see him compete. We see him compete 4 times.
It clearly doesn't. Perfect him for the majors. He's clearly upset about how it prepares him for that. But he's a top 5 player in the world right now. He had one bad tournament. I'm not going to discount him. I think he's in the mix at the PGA. I think he'll be among the top 3 in the odds board for sure.
Well, a week from Wednesday, you get to make your PGA picks. You're going to have him on your card.
I don't bet John Rahm. I'm not a big John Rahm guy, but
Jimmy, I love him, but I don't bet him.
He's a top 5 player. He's a top 5 player right now, and it's a clear top 5. There's a clear delineation between the top 5 and everyone else, and Bryson's not in that right now.
Absolutely love this horse. You betting on him? No.
I don't like John Rahm. But
does that remind me of my trip to Oxford? Remember that?
Yeah. You guys are going to fire Les Miles? I can't believe it. You guys want him? No. Cam Young, good enough for you guys, but not for us. No.
Cam Young ran away with it yesterday. It was not even really worth watching. He called a penalty on himself on the second hole, which is admirable, I guess.
That's how good he was when you make it boring. I mean, he just never stepped and was really consistent. But look at the scores. I mean, after he built the lead, he was still playing, 400, 300 the last.
I think he shot 400 on Sunday, and like I said, he had called a penalty on himself the second hole, so you thought maybe there was some drama there, but he parred the hole and went on his way, but tamed the Blue Monster for sure.
With a lot of other stuff going on, it was kind of Scheffler was the one. He had to work his way. He was kind of in that teens. He just getting better and finished Saturday strong, where he got in the top 10, and then he finished Sunday strong as well because he started. Before the back 9, he's not in 10th place. He was just outside. Right. So, I mean, had he, he did have to hustle, but he just – it's so weird, man, how he's just continuing to dig himself a hole and then kind of fighting out of it. It's just kind of like he's for a horse racing analogy, he's just really slow out the gates. Charlie's showing no tactical speed because it's the repeat cycle let's say you eliminate the first round. Just eliminate. No. Who's won the last 10 tournaments, the last 3 rounds? Tim, huh? Like 8 out of 10?
I would think.
Huh?
Yeah.
Playing like Saturday, Sundays, he's been outstanding. He's been right there.
I want to give kid duty during the week. He doesn't get off of kid duty till the weekend or something.
Maybe so. He's got a couple youngins, Maybe so. But he's got to get ready. PGA's in 2 weeks. He's not playing. He's skipping a signature event this week at Quill Hollow, the week before a major. Tends to not want to play the week before majors. Certain players have preference. We saw Rory skip last week. They've got to fix the smile a little bit. I know the signature events, they gave more money to the players, and it boosts those tournaments. There are more eyeballs on those tournaments. But this was another no-cut event, and look, part of it was Cam Young was a runaway. 72, I believe.
Okay, well but you can manage it.
There was hardly anything to watch on Sunday, and I mean at least
that's
normally.
Cam Young. That's not being no cut.
Yeah, but I think it is. You have Justin Rose who's still in the mix. He's 5 over. Like, what is he even there for? Why is he in the tournament? There needs to be some sort of cut.
Don't watch when those guys tee off.
Well, it gives Friday some sort of a boost on like who's going to make the cut, who's going to give themselves a chance. There's no cut.
So Friday, but Saturday, Sunday, you've got guys watching those guys tee off that early. Anyway.
You've got guys playing out the strings for 2 days. It's egregious to me. But look, Cam Young deserves his flowers. There was not a whole lot to look at. Oh, Adam Scott finished top 5.
Keep in mind with Cam Young. guys like Humans was betting him, and man, it was a frustrating just miss guy for a while.
Yeah.
So now that he's learning how to close, maintain leads, it's a different animal because he didn't come from nowhere.
No.
You know, when he started winning.
Honestly, reminds me a bit of Zalatoris, if Zalatoris was still healthy.
Oh,
like
don't get me.
Zalatoris was so close so many
Willie
times.
Z.
No, be close, but never got over that hump.
And look, people will forget this, and I know Scotty's not winning every tournament now, so it might be a better time to kind of reflect on his career. But he was all around leaderboards for a year and a half before he won his first tour event. So sometimes you can be right there. You can be loitering just
Max,
for
golf
a year.
Is golf like no other sport. In all sports, coaches mostly in team sports, they have a completely different approach protecting a lead as far as chasing the lead. Completely different approach, sitting on the lead.
Sure,
okay? Okay, golf is like to the 10th degree of that. So with guys, they got to learn that.
But Cam Young,
there's being in position to win and then winning.
Sure.
Okay, and some figure out, some don't.
you've got to break through. But Cam Young had been close chasing and with the lead, like both. He had final round leads that he blew, and then he had chases where it was too late. So now he's raised his floor so high to where now even if the pressure gets to him, even at the players, it doesn't really matter because his floor is so high.
He was a bomber. He smashes his driver.
He hits the ball far.
Okay.
Elite ball
So
speed.
is he not just polishing the other parts of his game?
I mentioned the
Man,
ball.
you see the putts when he missed. Was he
He's
not right on
a
him?
much better putter in the last year. That has unlocked a new level for him. It's raised his floor when he's not missing 5-foot putts regularly like he once did. And as I mentioned, the golf ball is huge for him. His iron play is much more consistent. He hasn't had the drop-offs before, and that's just he felt like he needed less spin. He's a spinny player. As fast as he hits it, he has problems with the spin and control and whatnot, and the new ball apparently unlocked things because he's got 3 wins in the last 8 months.
Because he was one of them in the Masters that was in position.
He was there.
Oh, he was one of the ones that kind of defaulted.
Had a chance.
Went
At
by the wayside.
one point, I felt he was going to win on early
Yeah.
Sunday. I
Yeah.
felt he was going to win the tournament.
Let me ask this one more question about Alex Fitzpatrick. Okay, take the Zurich and completely throw it out. Give him no credit for the tour exemption of the money, and say he got into this tournament on a sponsor's exemption this week. He won $500,000. All right,
So he got a top 10 finish?
Ninth.
tied for ninth. Yeah.
Where is he now? What's his ranking now, Max?
World ranking
updated.
is.
Is it updated?
I don't think it's up. 120th is what I'm seeing.
That's not updated.
I don't think so.
I don't think
He's
that's
62nd in the data.
And he
golf
gets no
ranking.
credit for the team format.
The world ranking
with
does
the
not
ranking.
take into account.
I mean,
the
So to
Zurich.
get your tour card, you got to be in the top 125 for the year. Okay,
on the PGA Tour.
On the PGA Tour, $500,000 puts him about 42% of the way to just that one tournament, about 42% of the way to getting in the top 125 or what it would have been last year. So if he earns enough money on his own to get a tour card minus the Zurich, are we going to give him credit for that? Or are we going to say you would have never gotten a chance to be in these
You're
tournaments?
answering your own question.
Yeah.
Your point is well taken.
Okay.
I mean,
There's 2 rankings to look at here in terms of tour status. The PGA Tour, where you finish top 125, after his win, where he does get FedEx Cup points at the Zurich, he's 39th in the FedEx Cup, and he's barely played. Like
I was going on money list.
y'all are pulling for the Zurich. Y'all want it to happen, so you're trying to justify it. I get it. But if he does, this top 9 finish is that's a good feel. This
After
last
an
weekend.
emotional win, that's a huge showing. Like this was a letdown
Emotional
spot for
win,
him.
man. Come on.
I mean,
It's
come
New
on, he got
Orleans.
his
It's
tour
Zurich.
status.
It's goofy golf.
He
man.
had never won on the
they
PGA
shot
Tour.
75 under one
Of
day.
course,
I
that's
mean,
an emotional win for Alex
Now,
Fitzpatrick.
getting a
by the way,
2.5-year tour
It
card.
wasn't
That's,
even emotional lip singing or whatever.
Well, yeah, they
I was
never
with
sang.
you on Rom. I'm with Max on. I'm with Max
They
on
should
the
have
Zurich.
karaoke. But again, I want to preface this. He was probably on pace to get a PGA. He was on pace to get a PGA Tour card anyway. Through the DP World Tour, if you finish top 10 in the DP World Tour at the end of the year, you get a PGA Tour
I'm
card.
sure the people who were
He's
knocking
eighth.
it noted that, huh? That he was on pace? Probably not.
It's low-level tour pros who are fighting for status, who feel like it's unfair. I'm sorry, this guy's better than you right now. That's the fact of it. So I don't really feel bad that he's got a tour card. It was deserving in my
If you
opinion.
watched Zurich, it was not his brother simply carrying him.
No.
He is the better
He hits the
player.
shots,
They used more,
especially on
but
Sunday.
it was a closer percentage to 50% than maybe you would think. But the other Fitzpatrick. What happened to him? Because he was rolling too. Where did he finish?
He didn't play this week, did he?
He didn't play. He sat out.
He skipped this week. He'll be back this coming week, I believe, at Quail Hollow.
So he did it without his brother holding his hand, huh?
There you go. Tied for 9.
How'd you give him credit for that?
But the poor mules want their status. Come on. Give me a break.
Don't forget our friends at Workbox and Workbox Services. Yes, indeed. My buddy Martin Padigal has been doing it for quite some time, and now bigger and better than ever with his great expanded team of Martin Jr., Hannah, Brandy, Chris Brooks. Yes, indeed. Our second office of Workbox allows us to service the entire Gulf Coast all the way through New Orleans to Lake Charles, servicing all these areas and everywhere in between. So the shipping containers, all different sizes. Most come with one standard size, but not Workbox. 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, 8x40 feet. You can have a custom lunchroom, custom work site for welders, plumbers, custom safety storage near the plant, customized part offers, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, wooden, metal material. Customize it any way you need, any way you prefer. Workbox and WorkboxLLC.com, 343-4886.
Live at Chris's Specialty Foods, live at Lunch 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny. Live from Chris's Specialty Foods on Highland Road.
Owen, as Jay Johnson was hoping, named SEC Pitcher of the Week, co-pitcher of the week, along with Dylan Valanis at Texas, who, by the way, they've moved into the Friday night role about 3 weeks ago, and he is dealing.
SEC, you get a live win, and you get SEC. You get qualify for SEC Pitcher of the Week.
It's a live win.
And look at that, South Carolina's hitting numbers. Hey,
he pitched 10 shutout innings. You got to win over Southeastern on Tuesday, too.
Okay.
10 shutout innings over 2 wins through 155 pitches in 10 innings. No runs on 4 hits, 2 walks, and 14 strikeouts.
There's nobody's pitching better than that kid from Florida.
No, Aiden King is pitching lights out. He has gone up against some of the top offenses.
The second he left the game, Oklahoma goes from scoring, not even threatening, 1 run through 7 to getting 3 runs to win the thing in the bottom of the 8th.
Florida and A&M are like the opposite. Florida's got a dominant Friday night guy, and the rest of it's just so-so. And A&M's got a great team. They don't have a Friday night guy. Sedale got lit up again the other night by Auburn. So, everybody's got their own little flaws. Thanks to Chris's Specialty Foods for being our host today.
Crawfish enchiladas, panko-crusted pork cutlet, pork rice and gravy, and lobster rolls the rest of the weekend for lunch specials.
Stay tuned for Hunt, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.